Good morning, and we're we're in section 84. And we're going to do the first 20 verses. And we've read this first part, but we'll read again. Revelation given to Joseph Smith, the prophet in Kirtland, Ohio. I believe it was in the Noah K. Whitney store above there, that this was given. And it's September 22 and 23. Significance of September, I think, was it September 21st, was the day that Joseph Smith had to go, or went back to the Hill Cumorah every year to be taught by Angel Moroni. So here we are, the same time of year, and he's getting this amazing revelation. During the month of September, elders had begun to return from their missions in the eastern states and make reports of their labors. It was while they were together in this season of joy that the following communication was received. The prophet designated it a revelation on priesthood. And we often refer to that, or the oath and covenant of the priesthood, which comes later. In this, but the first part in the Come Follow Me manual doesn't even cover any of this first part, but so it made me wonder what is in this even more. So we're going to get in it. I just put a little note on the side here. These are the questions we talked about yesterday. When you think of the word priesthood, what comes to mind? How does God's priesthood power influence your life? And now, with those questions in mind, we can start reading. Now, the prophet Joseph Smith said it was a revelation on the priesthood, but look how it starts. A revelation of Jesus Christ unto his servant Joseph Smith Jr. and 6 elders as they united their hearts and lifted up their voices on high. Now, part of this is that a revelation on the priesthood also will reveal things about Jesus Christ, a revelation of Jesus Christ. Either, I guess you can take it both ways, where it's a revelation given of Jesus Christ, and it's a revelation of Jesus Christ because it's his priesthood. For I neither received it of man, neither was I taught it, but by the revelation of Jesus Christ. Is one of the scriptures. So when we dive into this, see how it looks in the life of Christ, and also look how it says here, yea, the word of the Lord concerning his church. So we're not just talking about, this is just about the priesthood and this and as I said before yesterday, often I've actually heard women say, this is about the priesthood, so it doesn't have much to do with me. But no, it does. It's concerning his church. and established in the last days for the restoration of his people. Now, I didn't notice that until this week. I think I was listening to a podcast, but now it sticks out quite a lot. Often when we talk about restoration, we have the word restoration. We often think, well, the restoration of the church or restoration of the priesthood and things like that. But look how the Lord uses this, the restoration of his people. He is concerned about his people. It's concerning his church as it is established in the last day for the restoration of his people. As he has spoken by the mouth of the prophets, and for the gathering of his saints to stand upon Mount Zion, which shall be this city of New Jerusalem. So this shows that the Lord is concerned with people, with the saints. That's what the church is made up of. And that's why we say is the church of Jesus Christ, of Latter-day Saints. The church isn't Latter-day Saints, it's made up of Latter-day Saints, but it is Christ's church, and we end up being his people. And this is part of setting that up, that the people might be blessed. And now we're going to talk about the New Jerusalem. Which city shall be built, beginning at the temple lot? I think as a object lesson, the idea of beginning at the temple and going out from there, I think we can do that with our own lives, put the temple central in our lives. It's the house of the Lord, and we should have the Lord central in our lives. So if the Lord dwells in his temple, putting the temple there at the middle, and then building out from there, which is appointed by the finger of the Lord in the western boundaries of the state of Missouri, and dedicated by the hand of Joseph Smith Jr. and others, with whom the Lord is well pleased. I think it's important that he puts in there that he was well pleased with them for doing what they did. It's about 6 months later, and maybe they'd forgotten all the things that had transpired and needed that encouragement. Verily, this is the word of the Lord, that the city, New Jerusalem, shall be built by the gathering of the saints, beginning at this place, even the place of the temple, which temple shall be reared in this generation. Now, this generation is mentioned in Region 5. Verily, this generation shall not pass away until an house shall be built unto the Lord, and a cloud shall rest upon it, which cloud shall be even the glory of the Lord, which shall fill the house. Now, first of all, that it makes it kind of in verse 4. It seems to be very specific which temple is going to be revealed, and then there's the thing of generation. And if we look to other texts on when this generation is used, it's often there's three things that could be referred to. It could be those that are alive then, and it would be built within their lifetime. Or it could be as some of the scriptures, if we just look in the footnote really quick, I say unto you, all these things shall come upon this generation. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till these things be fulfilled. As you see, there's times when it's used for just a specific generation. There's times when it's, there's a revelation, and we see in the future that there's going to be a generation when this is fulfilled. And then there's one other part that I don't remember anybody using it or equating this to this, so this might not be doctrine, I guess. But when I'm reading this, I could read, which temple shall be reared in this dispensation. I don't think they've used dispensation that much yet. They do later. The dispensations become part of the vocabulary, but at this point there doesn't seem to be. But if you think of it that way, then a dispensation can last quite a long time, over multiple generations, and that may mean that specific temple can be built in this dispensation, this time period, this period of church history, but not tied to a generation of people, as in those that were living. And then when we get into 5, notice that it says, until an house shall be built unto the Lord. An house, not just, remember, they haven't done anything with temples by this time. We've had some revelations about it. They were commanded to build a temple and to find the land in Missouri, which talks about here. But in this sense, it says, an house to be built unto the Lord. So it could be, it didn't really matter if it was that one or another one built, but it must happen somewhere. And so it says, unto the Lord, and a cloud shall rest upon it. Which cloud shall be even the glory of the Lord which shall fill the house. That part was fulfilled with the Kirtland Temple, even though it wasn't built where the New Jerusalem was. So I just remember, even when I was a teenager, discussing what generation meant here. But obviously, at least for our sake, it doesn't mean the same thing. And also the difference between the specific temple, which is mentioned in 4, and a more general sense of a temple in 5. So that is how I see it anyway. Other people can see it another way, but what's most important is that we needed the temple. We needed a temple, and we needed the power that would come from it, and the blessings that come from those temples. So now we're going to go into kind of a line of authority type of thing. But as we start 6, see, it says, and the sons of Moses according to the holy priesthood. So he starts a sentence. This is really interesting because it's almost like a tangent, almost, because look at, and so we go in there, and it skips to 31. Therefore, as I said concerning the sons of Moses. So it's like, okay, well, here we are. Here's the sons of Moses, and then, but let's find out how they got their lineage before we start digging in. And so that's what we're going to do. So we're going to flip on here, and got the sons of Moses according to the holy priesthood which he received under the hand of his father-in-law, Jethro. And Jethro received it under the hand of Caleb, and Caleb received it under the hand of Elihu, and Elihu under the hand of Jeremy, and Jeremy under the hand of Gad, and Gad under the hand of Isaias, and Isaias received it under the hand of God. So I'm not sure if we have much on Isaias. We do have another comment in Doctrine and Covenants 76. Talking about just when we were talking about these are they who were some of one or some of the other, different prophets, but it doesn't really say much about Isaiah. But Isaiah did live in the days of Abraham and blessed him. And so it's interesting because it's saying that Isaiah had that priesthood. It came through Isaiah, it doesn't even say, does it say, it says that Isaiah got it under the hand of God, and that he lived in the days of Abraham. It does not say that Abraham conferred the priesthood on him, but I guess that's probably what happened, because then he goes on, which Abraham received the priesthood from Melchizedek, who received it through the lineage of his fathers, even till Moses. So now we're kind of jumping. We're going to Melchizedek, who received it through the lineage of his fathers. This is the first time they mentioned it being a lineage thing, which at the time they had the whole church was organized around the order of the family, or the patriarchs. This is the time of the patriarchs. That's why it seems that lineage is important here. So we went from Noah till Enoch through the lineage of their fathers, and from Enoch to Abel, who was slain by conspiracy of his brother, who received the priesthood by commandments of God, by the hand of his father Adam, who was the first man. Which priesthood? Now we're going back now to the subject of the priesthood. Now that we've got all that out of the way, of coming where this line of authority and members of the church now are members of the priesthood now, each will have a line of authority, and you can get that from church headquarters now, if you don't have it available on you. I used to keep mine in the scriptures. And now, well, I'm going on tangent there. Basically, you can just there's a line of priesthood. We find that very significant, that anybody that has the priesthood, they had to get it from somewhere, and they received it. And it shows that you have that priesthood through somebody that's ordained or of God to do that. But now we're going to talk about the exact priesthood. Which priesthood continueth in the church of God in all generations, and is without beginning of days or end of years. And the Lord confirmed a priesthood also upon Aaron and his seed through all their generations, which priesthood also continueth and abideth forever, with the priesthood which is after the holiest order of God. So it's letting us know the priesthood goes all the way back to Adam, and that it is after the holiest order of God. And this greater priesthood administereth the gospel and holdeth the keys of the ministering of the mysteries, the key of the mysteries of the kingdom, even the key of the knowledge of God. So that's pretty strong. This greater priesthood, or the Melchizedek priesthood, administereth the gospel and holdeth the key of the mysteries of the kingdom, even the key of the knowledge of God. Therefore, in the ordinances thereof, the power of godliness is manifest. Isn't that, I like that, and that's where we're going to end here. Therefore, in the ordinances thereof, the power of godliness is manifest. So we've got to the point where we're talking about the actual ordinances of the gospel. And remember, this is talking about restoring the people. This is about restoring God's people through his church. And the way he's doing it through his church is through the ordinances. And the power of godliness is manifest. Now remember, the word power, again, is something that comes up quite a bit, and goes all the way back to the Joseph Smith's first vision in the grove of trees, when the Lord says their hearts, or they draw near to me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. So we're talking about the power that's in the priesthood. And as we go through it, we can look and see how that power is manifest in the priesthood, and how we also can receive that power. And what is the main bit about it? It is because of the keys of the mysteries of the kingdom, or the key of the knowledge of God. We get to know God better. I hope you can get to know God better today, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Maybe. It always does this. Oops, sorry. We can't seem to get out of that when it does that. I don't understand that. There